All right, this is the podcast, the last one for ecology, chapter 22. It's on humans and the environment. There are 3 sections in this chapter, but we really mainly cover the section 2, which are the environmental issues. First thing we need to mention is that there are 3 different layers to the Earth: the geosphere, the hydrosphere, and the atmosphere. And obviously that is what makes up the biosphere, which is the part of the Earth where life exists. The only one we're going to look at is the air. The atmosphere is an important part of is important for us because that's where the greenhouse gases are. And the greenhouse gases trap heat on the Earth. And then you have the ozone layer, which shields the Earth from UV radiation. The atmosphere's ability to trap this heat in this way is called the greenhouse effect. This should be reviewed for. The greenhouse effect, number 1, solar energy penetrates the Earth's atmosphere and warms its surface. Some of that heat will radiate away from the Earth. Some of it will escape into space, but then some of it is absorbed by those greenhouse gases and returned back to the Earth. Another environmental issue is pollution. Human activities have affected global ecosystems, and it's harming the Earth. Human impacts can just be local, or it could be huge, global. Ozone thinning is another concept. CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons, these are industrial chemicals. They're acting as catalysts in chemical reactions, and they're breaking down ozone molecules in the ozone layer, which is causing more skin cancer. Most countries have banned CFCs, and the ozone layer seems to be recovering, but still is. Big concept is global warming. You might have heard this in the news. There is a correlation of increasing atmospheric carbon dioxide and rising global temperatures, and that concept is called global warming. They have several types of evidence, but many scientists have concluded that increased carbon dioxide levels is causing a warmer surface temperature on Earth. Another environmental issue is pollution again. This is land and water pollution. There is toxic chemicals that can get in the water, such as DDT, and it's getting into the biosphere and it's impacting ecosystems and it's causing many problems, especially when these chemicals are undergoing a concept called biological magnification. When DDT, for example, gets into the water, and you can see the DDT is being represented by the red dots, it's at an okay level. But then when the producers and zooplankton, when they get in the water, that it gets more concentrated in them. And then when the small fish eat the zooplankton, it gets even more concentrated in the small fish. When the large fish eat the small fish, it's even more concentrated in the large fish. And then you have these birds that are going to eat these fish, and it gets so concentrated that it's killing these birds. So as the food chain goes up, the concentration of DDT is increasing, it says almost 10 million times. Another environmental issue is extinction. There are human impacts on the environment that's causing these extinctions and a lot more of extinctions. Important causes of extinctions are habitat destruction, the transfer of invasive species to new habitats, harvesting, and hunting. This loss of species have known effects and unknown effects on ecosystems. Sometimes all these problems we're having in the environments is causing an imbalance in the ecosystem, especially when something happens to a keystone species. These are species that are in the community that are so important in the food chain that when something happens to them, it can throw off the whole ecosystem. This is a sea otter. There's 2 different kind of biologists that kind of study these ecosystems and the environmental problems. Conservation biologists are concerned with identifying ecosystems and maintaining them, while restoration biologists are trying to improve and repair badly damaged ecosystems. So with this chapter, it's just kind of looking at the problems that we have in the environment and how their effect is on life. We can't predict our future. But you can make a difference by recycling and knowing your role in the environment in 2014, for example, so that we can improve the quality of our earth. That concludes this chapter.